Welcome back to my channel where I normalize taboo topics. I'm so excited to be home and recording another video. It's something I look forward to throughout the day. Today I was off work and I did run some errands. I had a doctor's appointment for my carpal tunnel because I've been having some really bad issues with that. And then I did get to go to a store and pick out some things for our new house. We are building a house and we will be signing the contract on November 3rd. So we're able to move in that week and we are so excited. I've been slowly packing and getting things ready for the house. It's so exciting because it's mine and my boyfriend's first home and we're doing it together. And we're also building it so we can make it our own. And it's just something that I'm so excited about and I cannot wait to move. So the topic I want to discuss today is called highly sensitive personality. This is something that I have. My counselor brought it to my attention when she heard of my experiences and my feelings. So I did look it up and it turns out that I do have it. And I found an article that discusses this and it's called Highly Sensitive Refuge. I'll post a link down below in the description so that you can look at it as well. So the article starts off by saying, due to a biological difference that they're born with, highly sensitive people are more aware of subtleties and process information deeply. This means that they tend to be creative, insightful, and empathetic, but it also means they're more prone than others to stress and overwhelm. The article then lists 21 signs that you are a highly sensitive person. The first one is you absolutely cannot deal with violence and cruelty of any kind. It says everyone hates violence and cruelty, but for highly sensitive people, seeing or hearing about it can be extremely unsettling. You might be an HSP if you can't watch very scary, gory, or violent movies without getting upset or even feeling physically ill. Similarly, you may not be able to stomach a news story about animal cruelty or similar brutal acts. This is something I definitely experience. I can't read news articles or watch the news because I feel so emotional and I feel everyone's pain. So I try to limit how much I look up when it comes to the news and staying up to date. I have to take time for myself to calm down and make time for myself because, like I said, I feel everyone's pain and everyone's sadness. And another thing that I cannot deal with is animal cruelty. That commercial with Sarah McLachlan, I bawl every time I see that. She's singing her song in the arms of the angel, and there's just so many clips of sad animals and it breaks my heart and I get extremely depressed. So I tend to lean more towards romantic comedies and comedies when it comes to choosing a movie. I haven't watched a scary movie in so long. If I am going to watch a scary movie, it has to be one that I've already seen because I know what happens. If I don't know what happens, I'm kind of scared of what my reaction will be. Another sign is that you're frequently emotionally exhausted from absorbing other people's feelings. HSPs tend to absorb other people's emotions almost like an empath would. It's not unusual for an HSP to walk into a room and immediately sense the moods of the people in it. This is me to a T. When I'm at work and someone's mood just tends to switch a little bit, I can sense it. And then, of course, I ask them if everything's all right, and it turns out maybe they are sad, maybe they're anxious, or some text message just changed their mood. And we talk about it. I can tell what people are feeling. I don't know if it's intuition or if it is empathy, but I immediately feel whatever it is that they're feeling. If they're angry, I'm angry. If they're sad, I'm sad. If they're happy, I'm happy. And that's why it's hard for me to get into a group of people, because so many of them have different emotions that are going on. And here I am absorbing all these emotions, and I have to process them all at once. So it gets very overwhelming. And I think that's why I have the social anxiety. I don't like to go into a group and feel all the emotions. And I want to talk more about this in another video. So I plan on talking about empathy more in detail. The next one says that time pressure really rattles you. In school, timed quizzes or speed tests made you extremely anxious, perhaps to the point of not being able to perform as well as you normally would. I do have a little bit of struggle when it comes to something that's timed. If I take a timed test, I get extremely anxious. My heart is racing, almost to the point of having that anxiety attack or panic attack. I did not do well with timed tests. I did the best that I could. Same thing whenever I had to do the ACT test. That was something I was not looking forward to. I didn't like time tests. I was always so worried that I wouldn't get it done. And the same goes with any kind of timed game. If I'm playing a timed solitaire or any other timed game, I constantly am worried about running out of time. And I get the feelings of anxiety. So I avoid those things. I avoid any type of timed game. I don't really have to take any timed tests, so that's something that I don't really have to worry about anymore. But when I was younger, it definitely was an issue. The next one says that you withdraw often. You often find yourself withdrawing to a quiet, darkened room at the end of a long day in order to lower your stimulation level, soothe your senses, and recharge. I do this pretty much every day, especially when I get home from work. I have the lights completely off, and then I only have some lamps on, so that way it's dark and calm. Not only does that help with my anxiety, it helps with my trigeminal neuralgia. I cannot have a whole lot of light. So at the end of the day, I definitely come home in a dark room, and I try to decompress. I let out all the feelings, especially if I am absorbing other people's feelings. I let that out. I try to let it escape. I have to have that time frame of just, just releasing everyone's emotions and taking time just to distract myself from the long day that I had, because it is a lot of work, a lot of energy, and it takes a lot out of me. So I have to regain my strength when I get home. This next one is so funny because this is me for sure. You're jumpy. When someone sneaks up on you, you jump like a frightened cat. Many HSPs have a high startle reflex because even in non-threatening situations, their nervous systems are dialed up. I am someone that you would definitely want to scare because my reaction is hilarious. I scream, I jump, and it is at even in the point in the movie where it's just someone running into something and it makes a loud noise and I'm just startled. I scare easily and I jump, and it's like that fight or flight, and I just want to fly. I want to leave whatever situation, and I get so anxious after that. It's just like this pump of adrenaline and this really fast reaction, and I am the person that you want to scare because it is the funniest joke ever. My nephew does it. Some of my nieces do it. They know that I will easily scare. So they go ahead and they do it because they find it so funny. I guess I find it kind of funny. I laugh at myself like, oh, you just startled me. And it's just the simplest thing. Just a little startle and I freak out. The next one is you think deeply. This means you do plenty of reflecting on your experiences, more so than other people. Unfortunately, this also means you're more prone to negative overthinking. Sometimes you obsessively play events over and over in your mind or spiral into anxious thoughts. Yes. Yeah, that is exactly how I would explain it. I am constantly inside my head, and I say it to my boyfriend all the time. It's like I have these web pages. It's like a computer. It's just a bunch of different web pages, and I just am toggling through each web page, and they're all so different, and I don't know how to turn the computer off. I go from one thought to another extremely fast, and I sometimes have a really hard time processing my thoughts. And I do overplay some past experiences, and I constantly think, man, I should have said that. I should have done this. I shoulda, coulda, woulda. I constantly do that. I'm definitely an overthinker. And that also leads to anxiety and all these anxious thoughts and negative thoughts. The next one is also extremely relatable. It says you're a seeker. HSPs seek answers to the big questions in life. They ask why things are the way they are and what their role in all of it is. This is something I've experienced my entire life, always wondering, what is my path? Why am I here? What am I leaving behind whenever I do leave this world? What is on the other side? I mean, any kind of deep thought that you can think of, I have thought of. And I love those conversations where it's deeper thinking and deeper conversations. I highly value those kinds of conversations. And that's also why I struggle with small talk. I have gotten a lot better when it comes to small talk, but eventually it leads to a deeper meaning and a deeper conversation. And it gets pretty heavy because I value those kinds of conversations. And I think other people can tell that I like those conversations, though they feel that they can open up to me. So this one also is similar to the you're jumpy. It's sudden loud noises startle you. For example, a loud motorcycle suddenly whirring by your window may really shake you. This also is very true for me. If it's unexpected and it comes out of nowhere and it is extremely loud, I get startled and I react the same way that I would if you were to scare me. Especially when it comes to thunder. I don't know if it's the actual noise of thunder or if it's the anticipation of it coming, but when it hits, I do startle. And loud noises in scary movies, like if they run into a trash can, anything, I jump and I get scared. And sometimes when just the music comes in, I jump and I get scared. I do not like sudden loud noises. The next one says that your pain tolerance is less. Many HSPs are more sensitive to pain of all kinds, headaches, body aches, injuries, etc., than non-HSPs. This is the one thing that I don't really relate to, but that's mostly because I've had a lot of health issues in the past. I have had many surgeries, many broken bones. I, of course, have the constant facial pain. It's called trigeminal neuralgia. I experience that every day. And then I have so many other issues on top of that. Chronic migraines. So I would say my tolerance for pain is a lot higher just because I have learned to experience it and deal with it and push through it. So that's just one of the things that I don't really relate to. However, I can see how HSPs would have a lower tolerance to pain because their emotions are right at the surface and they feel everything. So I can see how it's related. The next one says your inner world is alive and present. Again, due to your deep processing, you have a rich inner world. As a child, you may have had several imaginary friends, enjoyed fantasy-based play, and were prone to daydreaming. As an adult, you may have vividly realistic dreams. I definitely feel this one as well because as a child, I was very imaginative and creative. I had those imaginary friends, and the games I would play would always use my imagination. I had way too much fun with that. And then in high school and in college, I was into drama. So I think that is related to it as well. It's just a little escape, and you still get to use your imagination and you get to be someone else. And I do have very realistic dreams. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, oh my gosh, where am I? I do have a lot of dreams where I am still in college or in high school and homework is due the next day and I didn't get it done, and I wake up feeling so anxious and I say, oh my gosh, I didn't get that assignment done. And then for a while it's like, wait a minute, I don't go to school anymore. I'm working part-time and I don't need to do homework. I don't have any homework that's due. So it does take me a while to get back to reality when I wake up because those dreams feel so real. The next one says change is extremely upsetting. HSPs take comfort in their routines because the familiar is far less stimulating than something brand new. For this reason, change, both positive and negative, can really throw off HSPs. When I was younger, I was extremely upset when something would change because I did value routine and having a schedule. I do still kind of have a schedule. It's not like it was in high school or in college, but I do plan things to do on my days off and what to do after work. So I do value routine. I do value my time getting up early and doing the things that I need to do. I do appreciate getting stuff done the night before I go to work, like picking out my outfit and packing my lunch, because it's a routine. And I have gotten better when it comes to change. I'm not excited about it. I get nervous about it. but I have been more accepting of it because sometimes change is good. It's a lot better than when I was younger. When I was younger, I did not like it at all, and I would get upset, and it would be very unsettling. But now it's more, I try to imagine it as a positive thing, and that's something I've been working on. And I think counseling has helped a lot with that. The next one says, sometimes your environment is your enemy. Similarly, moving to a new home or traveling can be quite difficult for you because your senses are bombarded with so much new stimuli. That is so true. It's not only just going to events or some kind of change or moving to a new place. It's going to work. Like, sometimes going into work is overstimulating, but I do it because I know I need to. And it also helps me overcome this feeling, and it helps with my anxiety, and I have to learn to live with it and not avoid the situations. I'm constantly aware of everything that's going on, not just what people are feeling, but I hear so many things. Like right now, I can hear my clock ticking right behind me. I'm very aware of that. I can hear the air conditioning. I know when it's on because I notice when it comes on. I am very aware of where everything is, and I can also hear people in the other apartments, and I'm just constantly aware of background noises. I can't just ignore them. I kind of dwell on them. So I'm very distracted, and that's something I have always dealt with. I like to people watch, I guess you would say. Sometimes when I'm going to the bar, I can't really pay attention to what someone in front of me is saying because I'm looking at other people, looking at other groups of people, and I'm watching the bartender and trying to figure out what it is they're thinking or feeling. I'm just more aware of what's going on around me instead of what's in front of me. Another one is that you're misunderstood. You may have been called shy or anxious, and perhaps it was implied that something was wrong with you. I've always been the shy one growing up. I was shy in school, and it takes me a long time to open up to you. I can't just automatically go in and tell you my whole life story. I need to get to know you, and I need you to get to know me, especially in a group of people. I cannot engage in conversation with a group of people, especially if there's so many other conversations going on. I don't know where I fit in. So I value those one-on-one conversations more. And I am the anxious one, but I feel like anxiety is related to this high sensitive personality. I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. Okay, so the next one really cracks me up because this is a personality trait of mine for sure. It says you get hangry easily. HSPs tend to be sensitive to changes in blood sugar levels, so they may get quite hangry if they haven't eaten in a while. This is so true. I have so many people joke about me getting hangry and getting completely upset whenever I don't have food because I do have that irritability when I don't have food in my system. I have to eat every 2 hours. Now, I'm not saying I eat a huge meal every 2 hours, but I eat breakfast, and then I have a morning snack, and then I have lunch, and then a lunch snack. I have to have snacks in between meals. I can't go long periods of time without having something in my stomach because I get this horrible attitude and I tend to say things that I don't mean. I've always apologized for what I said when I was hangry. I say that all the time and I can't help it. I just get horribly angry and I need food right then and there. So if you notice that I'm getting really mad, just give me a freaking piece of pizza. I'll be good. Another thing about HSPs is that they can be very sensitive to stimulants. So some HSPs are sensitive to caffeine and need very little of it to fill its buzz. Similarly, some HSPs are also sensitive to alcohol's effects. I kind of have this. I mean, it's not as bad as it used to be. I used to get extremely hyper whenever it came to having an energy drink in the morning or having coffee in the morning. Now I'm not as sensitive to that. And I used to be a lightweight when it comes to alcohol. But, I mean, I do get tipsy kind of early. But I don't get to the point where I'm just far gone. So I kind of have that sensitivity. But as I've grown up, it's definitely gotten better. And I can handle it more. The next one says that conflict is your poison. When there's tension or disagreement in your close relationships, you feel it deeply. Many HSPs even report feeling physically ill during conflict. As a result, some highly sensitive people become conflict avoidant, doing or saying almost anything to keep the other person happy. This is something I have dealt with my whole life. I don't like confrontation. I'm scared of how someone else will react, especially when talking about opinions. If I did have a different opinion than someone else, I didn't bring it up. I just let them vent and talk about their feelings, and I stayed silent for all my life. I never spoke up because I was afraid of confrontation and getting into an argument. And recently, I have been able to speak up, and not in an argumentative way, just in a way where I can speak my mind. Because I was told that there are some things that you shouldn't talk about. And of course, that's why I made this YouTube channel. Because I spent my whole life being silent, not speaking my mind. And now I have a new appreciation for myself and what I'm thinking. And I want to put it out there. And I want to share it with the world. So this is me making up for lost times. Criticism is a dagger. Positive words can make them soar, but harsh words will send them crashing to the ground. Criticism can feel like a dagger, and negativity is toxic to the highly sensitive person's finely tuned system. I did talk about this in my previous video, and for the longest time, I was very sensitive when it came to criticism. But now I am more accepting of constructive criticism because I have realized that people are just trying to help you. They're trying to give you advice, and they're trying to help you grow. So I have been more accepting of criticism. The next one says you're conscientious. At work and in school, you try hard not to make mistakes. Of course, this doesn't mean you're perfect. Nobody is. But you're always giving things your best effort. This is 100% true. I was one of those who was so obsessed with her grades. I wanted to be a straight A student, and I would get upset if I got a lower grade than that. I was so hard on myself. I thought that I had to be perfect. And for the longest time, that was my identity. I was so that transferred into my adult life, and I felt that way at work. And I was so hard on myself if I made a mistake. So hard on myself. I would dwell on it for the longest time. And I'm not saying that I'm not hard on myself anymore, but I am better than what I was. I've realized that people make mistakes and you learn from it. And we're all human. And it's okay to make a mistake. So I'm happy that that's gotten better. I love this next one so much. It says you're deeply moved by beauty. Fine meals, rich scents, beautiful artwork, or stirring melodies have a deep impact on you. You may find that music or certain sounds put you in a near trance-like state, or the way the wind catches the leaves in the autumn sunlight leaves you awestruck. You don't understand how people aren't as moved by beauty as you. I always thought this was just the artistic side of me, because I do like to draw and I do like to paint, and I have this huge appreciation for any beautiful scenery. I always try to take a mental picture and just sit there and wonder how it is I was able to be in this moment experiencing something so beautiful. Why am I here? It goes into those deep thoughts. Like, how could something be so beautiful? And it makes me have a huge appreciation for life. And it makes me wonder, of course, what is it all about? And whoever created it is such an amazing person. Like, they put this on this earth for me to enjoy. The last one is you're perceptive. Because you notice things that others miss, you're seen as perceptive and insightful. Even as a child, you may have been wise beyond your years. Of course, this is something that I have. I've always been perceptive. I'm always aware of what is going on around me, and I'm aware of other people's feelings. And I just notice things that some people may not notice. And that's because I'm extremely observant, and I'm always looking around and taking it all in, I would say. I take it all in. So one thing to understand about highly sensitive personality is that it's not a bad thing. Not all of these traits are negative. I know that they can lead to anxiety, and it also can lead to low self-esteem, and it can really affect your thoughts. But if you address it and you talk about it with your counselor, you are able to live with it. And it is a personality trait to be admired, because you do have a huge appreciation for life. You also get to have those deep conversations with people, especially those who are going through a hard time. And if you are someone who is empathetic and you can feel people's emotions, you're able to reach out to someone and ask if they're okay, because you noticed that their mood changed. So I feel like we need people like this in the world. It even says in this article, the world relies on highly sensitive people like you to make it a more compassionate, understanding place to be. And I find that very true, because there are a lot of people who aren't compassionate or empathetic. So we do need those people who are empathetic and very aware of what someone is going through and how they are feeling. because they can be someone to lean on. Even though I'm very sensitive and I feel everyone's emotions, I still am someone that you can talk to, you can lean on. I even have strangers coming up to me and talking to me about their problems. And just having them vent to me is a huge change for them. It's definitely a huge release. And I do offer advice too. So if you are one of those who has a highly sensitive personality, it's okay. And it's all right. It's something that is admired. And if you're having troubles living with it and learning to tame it, there's always counseling. We have to normalize counseling. I have talked about that before. I highly agree with that. There are ways to make it livable. So thank you so much for joining me in this episode of Normalizing Taboo Topics. I'm so glad you made it to the end. And if you're interested in learning about more taboo topics, please like and subscribe to my page. I'm so happy you were here with me, and I will see you next time.